Welcome, everybody, to our very first after COVID UFO ET experiencers group. And I'm so happy you're here, Michael and AJ, and I'm hoping that we get more people, but if not, that's fine too. We just have a nice intimate group. And I'm excited because I met AJ on I saw AJ on a YouTube video that Costa Macris was doing on YouTube, and he is a man who started an organization called ET Let's Talk, and AJ joined his group, I guess, a couple weeks ago, right, AJ?
Well, I joined Costa's group 4 or 5 years ago, but I bounced on, a couple of weeks ago to that.
Yeah, to share a little bit, right, about
He gets 3 minutes. I mean, what are you going to say in 3 minutes?
Right? Yeah, it's tough to sum it up in 3 minutes, but yeah. So I knew AJ was open to presenting and being interviewed. So when I realized the library was opening up again for this group, I was so excited because I thought, oh well, maybe AJ can share some of his experiences with the group. So this is how, and then I reached out to AJ and he's open to it. So AJ, take it away.
Okay, well, I'm familiar with the interview thing. I've done a few of them with the international interviewers, Canada and United States and Denmark. So I'm a little familiar with it, but I'd like to get more into it. Actually, I wanted to do the lecture circuit before COVID hit, so that put a pause on it for now. But I started this whole journey at the age of 8. I had contact. I was in bed, and a light. My bedroom was oriented where there was a window on the foot of my bed. My bed was on the corner, and I shared a bedroom with my older brother. And I saw this light come in, and I thought it was just the outside street light, because we lived on close to the corner of the neighborhood, and it kept getting more intense. And as it got more intense, it turned into like a cylinder. And then before I knew it, I was enveloped within the cylinder, and the light was like a bluish white light. And then the next thing I know, I'm hovering inside the cylinder, and I look up because it was like at a 45-degree angle. And I look up and I see this entity, just the silhouette of an entity standing at the other end of the cylinder, this round cylinder, and it probably was about 40 feet from me. And I was, I was in this thing. I was awake. This wasn't a dream, and it just stood there, and I didn't know what to do. I was getting a little agitated, and then it started to move towards me. And as it started to move, I freaked out. And as I was freaking out, the being was gesturing. Well, later on, I came to realize it was trying to comfort me, and say it's okay. But I didn't give it a chance. I woke up, I came out of it, or I was put back in my bed, and I woke everybody up in the house at like 2 in the morning. And they were like, I mean, they couldn't control me. I was like a mess. So 2 weeks after that, I was outside, and I was a little kid. I was really short when I was young, and I was outside playing across the street. There was a park, and 2 older boys we were playing. And it was late fall, and it was a fairly sunny sky. And all of a sudden, it got really cloudy above us. A gray cloud came above us, and really windy. And I had mittens on and a hat and glove and jacket. And the next thing I know, my arms had stretched straight out, and I'm looking down at these older boys that were taller than me. They were holding onto my jacket, and I was actually levitated about 2 feet off the ground. And I said, "What are you guys doing?" They said, "We're holding you, because you're taking off." So yeah, they pushed me back. My gloves flew off. They pushed me back down to the ground. And they took off running, and then I looked up, and the sky had cleared up, and I ran into them a while later, and I said, "What happened the other day? With that? Do you remember that?" And they didn't remember any of it. They said, "What are you talking about?"
Oh wow.
That was the beginning of it for me. And then it really stopped until I'd say probably 1990. I was in a warehouse fire. I owned a warehouse, and the genius that I'm not, I was working on a motorcycle I had at the time next to a furnace, and I had a 5-gallon can of gasoline next to this furnace, and I ignited a spark, and it literally, and I had nowhere to go because it was this old shower, maybe 6 by 7, and had the motorcycle next to the furnace, and I was back to the shower, so I had nowhere to go, and it exploded. Those flames were all around me, and I heard this voice say, "Walk through." And as I walked through, the flames parted. And then after I walked through, it enveloped, and I called 911, and they put the fire out.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, all these synchronicities of events, traumatic events. And then in
Was there any activity around that, or you just heard it?
no,
in your head?
no, it was just,
Heard it?
I always knew something was going on, but I
Yeah.
couldn't really place it. I was too much in the mental. I wasn't in the heart space.
Mhm.
So in 1994, my father passed away of colon cancer on July 28th. It's a day before my birthday. And and so as a result of that, I developed ulcerative colitis, and I was hemorrhaging for 2 years. And I think I told Catherine this. So 2 weeks before I had a near-death experience, um, I was on an elevator, just got out of a business meeting, and a woman, and nobody was on the elevator. I was on the top floor. It was a 4-story building. I walked in the elevator, and nobody's there. And I'm going down the elevator, and I look over, and there's a woman standing there. She's dressed in a white t-shirt, white pants. She had really coarse, dark brown hair, some freckles, real light skin, and big brown eyes. And I looked at her, and she looked at me, and without opening her mouth, it was a telepathic message. She said, "Don't worry, everything will be all right." And then I get off the elevator, and I turn around and ask her what the hell she's talking about, and there's nobody there. I told you that. And 2 weeks later, I was in a coma because my colon had perforated, and I had bile in my body, so they had to rush me to emergency surgery.
Mm.
So I had a 10-hour surgery. I had 3 surgeries, but yeah, I mean, I'm lucky I survived it. But
Sure are.
yeah, so that really, and the interesting thing about that and synchronicity is, so my dad passed away July 28th of 1994. I had a near death July 28th, 1996, the same day, 2 years later. I mean, how interesting is that, right?
Yeah.
So
Wow.
that kind of put me on the path of trying to understand, because typically well, just to back up, I was interviewed about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, by Ray Hernandez with Free Organization. I'm not sure if you know who
Oh,
they are.
I know who
Yeah,
that
so,
is.
and Eternia too. But so Ray, I was interviewed for the book that they put together.
Mhm.
Edgar Mitchell created the Noetic Science Institute, which is about consciousness, and they found out about me and contacted me, and so I was one of the people that they interviewed. They say that about 40% of all of this contact is this paranormal, normal, and the other being contact, if you want to call it extraterrestrial, whatever you want to say, is related to people that have NEDs, that have near-death experiences.
Mhm.
And I mean, it's an 800-page book, but really, what it really means is that it's just when you have a traumatic trigger like that, it opens up an access point in your body, and like an A port or whatever you want to call it, that helps you activate something that's in all of us. It's sad that it takes something so dramatic to do that, but for some people it does. So that really started the journey for me in '96, but I kind of put it on pause until late 2000s. I really got into it heavily in 2010, 2011. Found out about Stephen Greer somehow, and said, "Wow, this makes sense. What's the fastest way to travel? It's thought. Thought is the fastest way to travel." So I really got into the whole aspect, doing the CE5s, and I formed a group called United Universe Research Team in 2014. And I had 15 members, and we'd go out to a land site that was an ancient Indian burial land that a lady had owned. Through synchronicity, I had met this woman. I went to I remember in 2014, it was wintertime, I had nothing to do, and I just was going online to see events were going on. Some Unity church was having a speaker about ETs, or they call them aliens. So I went and I said I had nothing to do. So I'm sitting there and they're talking about, abductions and cattle mutilations. And I just got up and I said, you people have no idea what you're talking about. And I left. But so happens that, we had to give our names during this talk. And so I left and somebody remembered my name and reached out to somebody that knew somebody that, and so anyway, I was asked to speak and then I started the group. And so that's how all that started. And really ramped up, and then everybody just kind of, how these things are, people just dissipate, life changes and people move on. So it's basically just me now actually doing it on my own, which is fine because I don't need to go somewhere to do it. You just do it at your home.
That's right.
Yeah, so that's kind of where it's at. I've been interviewed, like I said, I'm far enough along where I understand the aspects of what a lot of this is about. Obviously, nobody knows what it's all about, but enough to be articulate to discuss it in a way that anybody could understand it, and even somebody that is very thorough in understanding, like Stephen Greer, I could have a conversation with them about it. But what I could do is just go through, because there's so much. I'll just highlight some of the data if you want to share. Catherine will. So after my what happened in 2015, April of 2015, my friend, who's originally from Mexico City, his sister from Mexico that lives in Mexico City, wanted to learn the protocols. So we went out to the land and we did the protocols with her, and we had this contact with these beings from the Andromeda star system. And ever since that encounter, everything you're going to see is a result of that. The orbs, the sounds, the beings, everything. So I'll show you that kind of last, the actual footage of the ship coming in, because we had, we weren't very high tech at the time. We had a camera on a tripod. It wasn't night vision. We had an EMF meter. It's a frequency meter, electronic frequency meter. We had a compass and things like that to get polarities for magnetic fields. So we had some stuff, but we didn't have a lot of high-tech stuff. And we had digital recording devices and stuff. But anyway, so the camera is facing the hill, this hill. It's about a 400-foot tall hill. And we're about 6 feet behind the camera on the tripod, and then we have a table where we set up like a little puja, ceremonial Vedic table.
Mm-hmm.
It's like an altar. And we did our meditation in that, and we were guiding them in through thought, through meditation, and through coherent thought sequencing, remote viewing. I'm sure you guys are aware of remote viewing.
Mm-hmm.
And then this event happened, but I'll show you. This is stuff that is after this, and this is an interesting. This is in my meditation room. I'm going to show you this in full speed and then in slow motion. So what this is, it's elemental energies that collaborate with the heart chakra and the crown chakra and the third eye. Once you become coherent and cohesive in those frequencies and vibrations, you can collaborate with other entities, more or less, other beings, other realities, other dimensions. So that's what you're going to see. There's this plasma energy, some people call it smoke or elementals, that coalesce with these conscious orbs, and it's basically beings that are manifesting and coalescing with these other energies, and you feel this with these waves of energy, like was it Michael?
Michael, yeah.
Michael was saying, like, he would feel these waves or these.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's kind of what you feel, but it's like a very strong electrical field. That you feel. It's
right.
So this is me holding my phone. This is just an iPhone that I'm holding.
Can you
up.
enlarge it, AJ?
Let me see if I can.
You might be able to stretch it out, or even get it get it more in the center, and then try to like pull it out if you can.
Let me see.
There you go.
That looks like that might be it.
Okay.
I don't know why.
All right. Yeah, that's okay.
Okay. So that's my meditation room. Oh, this is a different one. You see I think I sent you this one. You see that floating?
Yeah. Reminds
Look
me
at
of
this.
a huge marshmallow. The thing is huge.
Yeah, that's just an ET, saying hello, basically, checking me out, observing.
Wow.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah, and you'll see these chakra rods. They're actually ETs contained within this energy beam. You'll see it on another clip, but yeah, it's quite interesting. Let me see. I thought that was it. It must be this other one. Oh, I know where it's at. Sorry, it's right here. Of course, I gotta move you guys. Here it is. Let's see if I can enlarge this for you.
There you go.
Oh, and this is another one. Okay, so that's the plasma smoke. Thank you.
Oh, okay. So that's plasma. That's not smoke. It's not smoke of
No, it's not
incense or anything.
And you see the orbs kind of becoming active. Oh, I know where it's at. You see how strong it's becoming and prevalent? That's smoke. How coherent it is.
Yeah. And what are you doing? Chanting?
That's actually a Stephen Greer meditation.
Oh, okay.
But I have singing bowls. I do the singing bowls to get the vibration up, but I do mantras and chants before.
Mhm.
So those are just activity of the vibration that's being elevated and raised in the room. It's just energies and consciousness. I want to show you. Let's see if I think on here if there's more that occurs. There's yeah. I mean they'll come right up to you and stop. It's just blank. It's just amazing.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Are you able to see them with your naked eye? Or
Some
are
of
they
them, yeah, some of them now.
okay.
I want to show you. Let me pull it up here. So I got to go to the 23rd. I need to go to sent with my glasses on. It's not that one. Let's see. Oh, here's a face that showed up in my meditation room. This is interesting. Look at this thing. So you see this upside down triangle on his above his third eye, whatever this thing is.
Mhm. Yeah.
I mean, they say that an up down side triangle is the alignment of the divinity, of the divine, of the chakras to the
Mhm.
higher state of consciousness and the God consciousness. So that, I don't know if this is just some kind of archetype or symbolism that they had manifested in my room,
Yeah.
but
It
it's
looks to me like one being on top of another being.
I don't know. It looks like a mask with some kind of a symbol over it.
Yeah, and there's another being on top there. It looks like two of them, and he does have like a triangle piece that comes down into the
yeah.
larger one.
Actually, I want to go back to this, but let me find it. Where is this thing?
Oh, wow. That was,
I've got some amazing stuff, but where is? Okay, I gotta go to inbox. Hold on. 23rd. Where are you? Okay, here it is. All right. you'll see up in the left corner, this energy just start to manifest. And then I'll show you what happens. There's a porthole that opens up and this being, it looks like it has a horse face, peers through, but it's just distorted because there's so much energy in the room, it jacks with the phone. But watch how fast these orbs start moving. Once, you see the energy starting to come in? Watch. Now watch the orbs coalescing within that energy and it just starts
Oh,
getting
yeah, look at that.
and the colors just, I'm going to show you this in slow motion. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
And the coherency of that energy. And my body felt like it was just being electrified. Now you start seeing orbs just flying in random directions. It gets really bizarre. I mean, look at the way they fly or they just move. It's just, it's incredible. The speed.
Yeah.
There's no way you could pick that up with the human eye. It's too fast. The human eye sees 20 something frames a second, and this camera, I think, is 60 frames a second.
What kind of camera are you using?
I'm just using my phone.
What kind of phone is it?
Just an iPhone.
Oh, it's an iPhone.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll start showing you some more things. So this, where is the?
I think the iPhones are the better ones to use because you can actually go frame by frame with them.
So this is actually, I took this off of Stephen Greer's website. He had a Puja table directly below this entity that came in, and he said it was a being from the Andromeda star system. You can go on his website and see it, I think it's Sirius.com or Sirius.org. But this appears, right? So this is what
This is at Stephen Greer's. This was at his place.
No, this is somewhere where he's doing a CE5 protocol with a group of people. They were sitting in circle,
Okay.
and this energy appeared. This appeared in my bedroom.
Oh, wow.
The similarity of it.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to show you the video of it entering the room. If I can pull it up. Yeah, here it is. I felt like I was being shocked, my brain. So watch this. This is in my bedroom. I was laying down. It's like 11 o'clock at night. See it?
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
So here it is. Here, I'll show it again. And it went right to my third eye and just.
Oh, wow.
Oh. That was pretty amazing.
You felt like it was shocks. You got shocked from it?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's like your whole head just pulsates. It's
Yeah.
like a vibrational feeling.
Yeah.
But
it wasn't like a bad.
No, none of this is, it's all benevolent. It's not malevolent at all. No. This is something that's interesting. So this here I see quite a bit. You know,
That reminds me of Kuan Yin.
it's almost angelic to me.
Yeah, it's like a body in there. You can see the head,
Right.
and then the flowing robe.
Yeah. So my daughter had to go in the hospital for biopsies a few weeks ago, and so I was really worried about it. So, and she's still lives at home. So I slept on the couch next to her bedroom and was doing some meditations for make sure she was okay. And two women came to me in the early morning hours and grabbed my hand and they were elderly women. They were like hovering over me and just, they were whispering, and I couldn't understand what they were saying, but I was getting the feeling of just compassion, you know? So then at the hospital, let me see if I can, I got to go back to sequence here. Let's see which one this is. So at the hospital, this appeared, which is almost the same color as this.
Hmm.
And then, so I zoomed on it, and there it is.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
So it appeared twice, and I took more pictures, it was gone.
wow.
So I'm not sure what that was.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was interesting.
they're watching
So,
over her. She's okay?
yeah, she's fine. The biopsies came back and everything was negative, thank God.
Good.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
she's, I want to show you some more footages. Let's see what we have here. Oh, that's a being. I will show you, I think I showed, let's see here. I showed you this one, Catherine. This is a female being. You can see her eyes,
Oh, yeah.
her neck.
Wow,
Yeah, that's pretty
She's
clear.
it is. That's a good picture.
Yeah, where was that taken?
in my meditation room. Here's an interesting one. I showed this to Grant Cameron when I did my first interview with him. He almost like, wow. You can see her eyes here and her mouth. She's
Yep.
looking down. You see her chakra, her third eye. There's this beam connected, you
Yep.
know, to her
Mhm.
third eye. She came in like this gold. That's the color she came in at in my
Wow.
meditation room, was just hovering over me.
Wow.
I want to show you, this is, it's just an orb. Well, I'm just an orbit.
Oh, that's a pretty orb, though.
Yeah, I get all kinds of amazing
Mhm.
colors.
Yeah,
Here's
it's
an ET, and what you're going to see on a lot of these ETs, so this is an ET that actually came to me and did some work on me. Here's
wow.
his eye sockets.
Yeah.
There's always, on a lot of these beings, there's something above the third eye.
Third eye. Yeah, that's a big
Mouth is
third eye
open.
there.
It actually has a big nose, and
Yes.
yeah, he's the one. Yeah, he's the one that told me during some work they were doing on me that they were taking out the green. That's the being.
Oh, I'm noticing with that. Can you pull that back up?
Yeah,
There are other beings behind him.
let's see.
If you take where his third eye is, that's one being's nose, and
Mhm.
his eye is actually his mouth.
Yeah,
And then there's another one next to him, and they're sharing an eye. So there's actually 3 beings in that picture, looks to me like.
I'll show you something here that's just unbelievable. So what a lot of this is let me explain this to you. Before I show you this other picture, if I can find the picture, I'm sure I have it on here. There's an orb. Sometimes it's not the actual orb, but it's the orb that creates the projection of energy to allow other civilizations with higher technologies to more or less bilocate by means of transmission of their technologies. So they're basically projecting, okay,
Mhm.
into the space. So I have pictures. I'm going to show you a picture of my meditation room of a spacecraft. Okay. So it's a projection of the spacecraft, and above it, you'll see 2 heads. One's facing one way, one's facing the opposite direction. And it's a delta shaped ship. Now, obviously the ship probably wasn't in my room, even though ETs have the ability to manipulate mass and matter down to the subatomic particles. But I think it was just a projection of their ship, the ones that have been coming to me. And this is the ship here. Let me show you the Delta ship. It's right at the entry of my door. Where is the picture of it? Let's see, where'd you go? These pictures on my screen are really small, so I'm battling to find them. But I know they're here. Where are you guys? Oh, here it is. Okay. So if you look at this, you'll see 2 faces opposing. You see? There's one
Mhm.
here. You just really have to look.
Yeah.
And you see this? That's a ship. You see on top of the ship, this round circle, and then this square piece, like some kind of I don't know what that projection is. This is the front of it, and this is the delta shape.
Oh, yeah.
I see it now.
Yeah,
Yes.
just look at it. I mean, the more you look at it, the more you see it. And I'm going to pull up some other pictures of it. That's a closer image of just the ship.
Yeah. It's interesting how they morphed out of it and their
Yeah,
heads
and then there's the
kind of
top of the
smushed
ship.
together.
Right
They're
there.
like
Look at
flattened
that.
out.
I mean, you could even see the shadowing off of one side of the ship.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing? So
Yeah.
I think it's projection from their craft, just saying, okay, yeah, you know, thank you, and
Yeah.
for acknowledging, and we're acknowledging back to you, because I mean, that's how a lot of the communication occurs, is just through their technologies. They can, you know, they can manifest in just ways that humans have no idea, have no concept of understanding.
Yeah,
how
they
that
look
actually
very
occurs.
3D in that too. You know, they weren't like flattened. They were
Yeah, there's a
rounded, you know.
I'm trying to find this. Oh, there's a face here. You can see here. It's trying to manifest out
Mhm.
of plasma smoke. You look at it,
Yep.
pointed chin. I want to find the. I thought I had it on here. It's a fascinating picture. Also, have you heard of the Hawthors before?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Hawthors are from ancient Egyptian times. So
Oh,
I was doing a meditation of the Hawthors, and this appeared in my
What?
meditation room. His nose, his eye, something above his third eye, his ear, his mouth is down here.
Wow.
He just floated in right above the puja table.
Hmm.
So getting back to the that energy that I was showing you, I'll show you the if I can find it here, the a port, or the porthole that opens up, and this being's face comes through. I think I might have to go to. Let me do this because I'm not seeing. Where's this? That's me doing some work on somebody. All right, so let me go back to my mail. This was the other night. I was out looking at the Aurora Borealis, and I couldn't find it, and this popped in. I think I
Nice.
sent that to you.
Where do you live, AJ?
In Nebraska right now. I'll show you the footage from it real quick. So here, this was the footage that I shot. You'll see right here, I caught this and watched it. And I just dissolved after that. I'd stopped the footage. All right, so let's go through some of these, because I've done presentations before. A lot of this is just by email. Let's see what we have here for sense. Oh, this is the one I just showed you with the yeah.
About the energy, electricity. Oh God, that was unbelievable.
So this is that
Thank you.
gentleman I was telling you about.
Wow.
I need to shut that. His name is he's from the Netherlands. His name is Robert Vanderbroek. Broke. So he sees this plasma energy too, as it's filmed here.
Mm.
And then there was the energy that I have in my room. So it's very, very similar. That's a Beings.They, so you really have to look at this one. Eye,
I
bit of
can
a nose, mouth.
right away. Hi, Yumi. Yumi's here.
This is a being that's flying over the puja. This was during the where you saw that vapor energy and those
I see.
orbs. You see his head right here,
Yes.
Hi, Yumi.
body, torso, it's just flying through the air.
Hey.
There's an orb flying through.
Oh yeah, look at that one. I love that one. I love when they do that.
Here's two faces. Do you see them? This is right at the entry of my door where that ship was.
Yes.
Here's a nose, 2 eyes, mouth. Here's
Yeah.
an eye.
They're joined together kind of
Yeah,
too.
joined together.
Yeah.
But if you look at it, so I was talking about the third eye. You see above each one of them, there's like a convex area.
Yeah.
You see that?
Yeah.
So that's fascinating. That
Interesting.
yeah.
And this was in your meditation room?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to show you a symbol. So this is the Hindi symbol of the heart. Right here, you have an arrow with intersecting lines, and then this. So one morning I had contact, and I woke up with this on my wrist. You see the arrow and the intersecting lines?
I have
You
to
look at it.
back up a little.
Yeah.
I see.
There's the point, comes into a triangle, then it intersects here. It was fading when it dissolved within like 15 minutes after I had taken the picture.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, I think I see the point by the end there.
Yeah, right here.
Yes.
So that's similar to the Hindu symbol of
Okay,
the
now
heart.
I see it. Yes.
Mhm. And that's it in regular
I
color.
see it better. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I amplify the color so you can see it, but yeah, that's it. So there's a correlation with the Vedas. The Vedic people and religion and text it predates Christianity by over 2,000 years. It's over 4,000 years old. So it's they say it's the oldest form of text and religion that exists, or belief system that exists for humanity. It predates Sumerian too. This is this gentleman from the Netherlands, more of his stuff. You'll see this rod, you see the round chakra-like objects. So I have the same thing in my meditation room. Here's basically the same thing
Oh,
as you
yeah.
got. See it?
Yep.
I have a video, the video clip of the whole thing moving around the room. It's quite interesting.
Hmm.
Let's see what this is. Oh, that's that picture I painted. Let's see. Let's see what clip this is. I think that's the. If she would like to see this, we could show it again. So I have a meditation room, and as I was telling Michael and Catherine, I was making contact with other civilizations and energies, and then this manifested this plasma elemental smoke. They call it a vapor. It coalesces with these orbs. You'll see it coming in to the upper left here shortly. And it's not smoke or anything that I'm doing. It's just happening. And the room just becomes filled with this energetic energy frequency.
Are you recording while you are meditating, you said?
No, this is after meditation for
After
contact. So this is afterwards. I typically do an hour and then I'll start recording. But I ask for permission first to record.
Ask who did you ask to? The entity?
Yeah, well, yeah, I what I usually do is I do an affirmation and intention, and I just ask, I just say, I'm here to ask for otherworldly beings to interact with me, and then I just kind of break it down from there.
Wow.
Let's see.
That's the way to show your respect to the.
Yes, so this is the horse. There's a portal that pops through during that segment we just saw.
Mhm.
And if you look at this, you really have to look in a nonlinear way, an abstract way, but this is an actual being. He has a horse-like face.
Yeah.
See his elongated nose?
Yeah.
There's the top of his head. And he's got like 2 rods or something, one on each side of his head. So that's a lot like the Egyptian Thoth.
Mhm.
If you actually pull him up, he looks similar to that. And I don't know who he didn't identify, so I have no idea. I just put Egyptian mythology on it. There's a woman, if you really look at this, so I get a lot of these these angelic beings with hoods.
Yeah.
If you look, here's her chin, pointed chin, her mouth, her nose, eye socket. Here it gets dark here, and then this is the hood. It
Nice.
covers her. She has a robe on.
Yeah. I see it.
And I'll show you another one. She comes in quite a bit. Right here, you could see her. See her chin? She's looking right at me.
Oh, yeah. Is she turned to her side?
Yes, correct. Now I'll show you. Now I was telling you about the orb. Sometimes it's not the actual orb, but it's what's around the orb. This is the actual picture, and I enlarged it. That's what came
Oh,
in.
wow. Look at that.
This is the orb. She's projecting out of the orb.
Oh, wow.
Her
That's that
energy.
big white one that was floating
Yeah,
away?
yes. You
Mhm.
see?
Oh, cool.
Isn't
Ah.
that neat? She's looking right at me. So,
Look at that. Oh, my God.
so she's the woman that came to me February 2 years ago. In the middle of the night, she was hovering over me, and she just kept saying the word mamata. She said it 3 times, and she disappeared. And what mamata means, that I found out later on, or the next day I Googled it, it's Hindu for love of the mother. And I was telling Catherine earlier that something told me to go see my mom that day, and I went to my mother's house, and she opened the door and had a heart attack and fell in my arms.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, so she saved her life. She's still alive today. She's 80, she'll be
wow.
89 this month. Yeah, isn't that,
Oh,
so
wow,
synchronicity.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's why, I actually causality and the whole concept of correlation and causation, the things that correlate, do they create causation? Or the word correlation basically means, as we know, it means by chance, but none of this is by chance. It's everything is it just occurs because of the intention and the
Right.
manifestation of that intention and consciousness. But
Mhm.
correlation and causation, I think, are related to causality, which is cause and effect, and anything can be manifest through the right intention, and that happens in dream time. With the Aborigines used to do that. The Native Americans. I mean, the Hopi people have a saying that um, I've written it down. It's a wonderful saying. I was talking to somebody on the phone the other day about it, and the Hopi say that. Let me find it real quick on my phone. They say that we are the ones we've been waiting for,
Mhm.
and the Mayans used to say that I am but another one of you. So every species in humanity since the beginning of time has always had this unity of understanding, of oneness.
Mhm.
And what's happened, I think, with humanity over the last 1,000, 2,000 years is that we've become disconnected from spirit and from self, and we've gone from unity to I guess becoming more centered into oneself rather than going outside of oneself and understanding the aspects of the totality of the singularity of consciousness. The father of quantum physics, Schrodinger, said that in the 1920s. He said that he was a friend of a colleague of Einstein. He said that the total number of minds in the universe is one, that there's a singularity to all things in the universe. So what that means is that the universe is a holographic universe that is contained within each one of us. There's an ancient saying that goes, "I am but a puny man, but enfolded within me lies the universe." What that means is that within all of us, we have the embodiment of the universe. The saying that a drop of water that falls into the ocean, you become the ocean. It's the same thing. So when one understands the aspects that contained within each one of us, this conscious aspect that is non-locale, has a non-locality to it, and the ability to transcend beyond the physical, realms, you can interact with whatever you want to interact with, whatever you feel the connection and the force and the pull to. And I have been told by these beings that, and before I tell you what they say, Jacques Vallée is a physicist. He lives in California. He's from France, and he's written quite a few books. I'm not sure if you've heard of Jacques Vallée. But Jacques Vallée says that one of his books, he says that there are other realities and dimensions that run parallel with ours, or with this reality and dimension. What he left out was that in addition to all things, in addition to other realities and dimensions running parallel with this one, is that all things occur simultaneously. And I've been told by other civilizations that everything that exists, that has happened, that is happening, and that will happen already is existing simultaneously. It vibrates at a different frequency. We just don't see it. So the past, the present, and the future are all existing and occurring at once. And we just, we don't see it. And we're because we're not in that field of reality and that dimension. But sometimes if you can tap into it, there's a place that's called the void. The energy beings call it the void. I call it time displacement. But it's a void where you go. It's where you have no thought. It's in meditation. There's a place in meditation. It's before you get to a state, and it's before you leave a state. It's called the state of void, and that's where these energy beings, these energies, come to you, and they can interact with you. And a lot of times, that's when this occurs, this contact.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm going to show you in April of 2015, when I was teaching a group to do these CE5 protocols. I'm going to show you a face real quick. This floated above my puja table. See his nose?
Yeah.
It looks like Abraham's Lincoln nose to me. Yeah, he hovered right above the puja table. Okay, so I'd like you to all now just consider this. So this is 2015. I started this group in 2014. We, like I said earlier, we just had a few technical things. At the time, I didn't have night vision. I just had a regular Canon video camera. It's on a tripod facing a hill. So what I had to do, because the actual footage, and we didn't see these beings. All we did was we heard it. But we knew they were there. We felt the energy. We felt their presence. And the actual footage shows colored lights blinking in the land. We didn't even see those. Because what happens is that these beings are phasing in and out of linear space and time. So they're just beyond the crossing point of light, of what we see as light, because humans can only see about 6% of what's really out there. Mm-hmm. And these beings, just think of the old analog radios that you could dial in and out of channels, right? There's like static in between. Well, that's basically in a very simplistic way of explaining how these other civilizations that are so highly advanced, they can traverse and they can manifest through dimensions. So they're transdimensionally shifting in and out of linear space and time. Okay, are you following what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So this is what you're going to see. You're going to see we're meditating, we're standing looking up in the sky, and you'll hear me say, wow, there's one. And there was like, it was like a light bulb went off above us, but it was very high in the sky. And after I said that, a ship floats into the land from the left, upper left. It floats in, it's hovering probably 15 feet from us. The three beings get out of the ship and take us aboard the craft. And we found this out, I found this out in 2018. They came to us and actually showed us this. And the interesting thing about that, finding this out 3 years later, was that I live where I live, and my friend had moved away, and his sister lives in Mexico. That day, or the next day, all three of us talked. Because I called Victor, my friend who was at the land with me, and his sister, Lulu, lives in Mexico. I called Victor. I said, Victor, I had a really strange encounter. This being came to me and said, we were on the ship, that night. And he said, stop. And he explained to me the rest of the story. Then we called his sister, and she explained the same thing that happened to her that night, the night before. So we were contacted by the same being that was on the ship with us, and he told us what happened. So it's a very interesting story.
Wow.
And I'd like to show you something first. Now, if you look at this, so this is, I don't know if you've heard of George Adamski. George
Yeah.
Adamski is a gentleman that had a contact, quite a bit of contact in the 50s, 1950s. He lived in California with the Venetians, beings from Venus. The reason I'm showing you this picture is because I want you to look at these cylinders. This is part of their propulsion system. This creates the negative and positive effects, the non-gravitic effects for their craft to hover and to travel. Okay. So I'm going to show you a still picture of the craft at the land. And you have to take into account this is pixelated because I had to saturate the footage because it was pitch black. Okay.
Mhm.
Now you'll see the side of the craft. You see
Oh, yeah.
underneath.
Yeah.
You see the sphere. This is the ship here above where it's white. Everything black here is just darkness. You can see the similarity
Yes.
of the sphere. Okay. So that's one picture. And I'll show you another picture. Let's see. This is the craft. Here's a sphere underneath it. This is the bottom of the ship. And then you've got this V shape.
Hmm.
It's an upside down triangle. I don't know if this is a window or what, but, and then this is a picture I had taken. Let me show you another one. This is another picture. Now tell me if you see anything in the middle of the picture.
Oh, yeah. I
See his
see.
face?
Yeah.
So he's standing there. There's actually 4 beings that came out. This being was standing there observing as the other 3 were taking us on the ship.
I see another one all the way to the left. It looks like an ET
Oh.
face right there.
Well, that's underneath the ship. The ship is tilted.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's the sphere underneath
Oh,
the
I
ship.
see.
But
Okay.
he's standing there looking at us. So here is the footage I will show you. And what I want you to do is turn your volume up. And this is really much better to watch in the dark. If you guys can shut your lights off, you're going to really enjoy this. And turn the volume up on your
All right, let me turn it off. Hold on. Give me a second.
on your computers.
Okay.
So what happens typically in the past when they would make contact with us, there would always be these sounds. They would sound almost like wild monkeys and howling, and there weren't animals in the area. That was just to let us know they were coming. For some strange reason, that's how they would identify themselves. And so you're going to hear this after I say, wow, did you guys see that? You're going to hear these really strange sounds, and we call them infrasounds because it's 360. The audible sounds are all around us. You have no idea where they're coming from. They're synthesized sounds that they create. And you're going to hear it as well as see it. So I'm going to pull up the shot here. So this is the clip that I caught.
There you go. Can you turn up your volume a little? EJ, I can't really hear them.
Can't hear it?
Now
Yeah, you got to turn up your volume all the way.
mine's all the way up.
Okay. Can you hear it? Let me move this forward a little bit. What was that? Okay, we have a flashlight. We're just flashing at the land right now. It's actually good. Those are weeds and there's a tree right here, but let me find it. It's at 10 minutes, I think. So I need to go to, there's another flash. So that's scanning the land right there to show you that. You can see the shrubs,
Mhm.
kind of. Okay.
Yes.
I gotta go to 10 minutes. Okay, so let me back this up to 10. All right.
Wow, there's one, Vic. Blinked in and out, really bright. Please illuminate for us again. Oh my God.
There's the craft right here. It's already in the land. I just watch this. I'll play this a few times for you. And watch what happens. It goes to the right, then it comes back in, and when I say it's really bright, it flashes back.
Right there, right where your sister saw it. Very bright. Came in and out right there.
There it is to the right.
Picture, right? Please illuminate for us.
Now it's off the screen. You don't see it.
That was unreal.
So listen to these sounds that come up.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
¿Viste, Andrea?
No,
Ah, pero ya se fue, ¿no?
There.
Hoy.
it says it doesn't. Right here.
Okay.
Yeah, right here.
¿Y por qué hacen así? ¿Por qué?
Join us. Join us. Wow, you should have seen it, Rick. It was so.
You see the ship come in right here?
Yeah.
So it phases in. Now watch. So then you'll see there's a viewing room. You see these blinking colored lights. These are the ETs looking at us.
Right.
You see it. There's a ship.
¿Pero qué son ellos?
We invite
¿Segura?
you to come. We are one. We invite you to come.
Right there.
Hmm.
There's an ET. There's the window, the viewing window. They're looking right at us. Now you'll see these flickering lights.
Wow.
See it?
We feel your
Ay, el guajolote.
We feel your presence.
Están cerca, ¿eh? Están muy cerca. Seguro son ellos.
Now what you don't see is the ship's actually covering a majority of the upper part of the screen. There's actually a being right here. This is just a silhouette. They're coming to take us aboard the craft. The
Mm.
more you watch this, Catherine, you'll really pick it up. You'll see the gestures of their head moving back and forth in their shoulder.
Pero son ellos.
O afectan a los animales. ¿Sí?
So bright.
See something standing in front of you? You really got to watch it a few times.
Yeah, right to the left a little bit, right?
Just watch.
Oh, wow, look at that. Oh my God.
Eso sí te hace ese tipo de constraints. Sí, sí.
There's landing gear right here too. If the more you watch it, you'll see it.
That spot's still there, AJ. The spot's still there.
And that's it. It left.
Oh, wow.
So we had lost 2 hours of time when that happened.
How many
we-
people were there,
Three,
AJ?
three of us.
Holy,
We started at 9 o'clock. That came in at 9 o'clock. And after those sounds, for some reason we were tired. We decided just to call it a night. We got in the car, we were driving, and it was like 11:30. We had no idea.
wow.
So the whole idea, I mean, what Greer says, you know, that the reason we don't see a lot of them is because they're going to get shot down, which it's true. I mean, there's satellites in the sky that are aiming towards space.
Mhm.
But the fact that they have the technologies to phase in and out of linear space and time without being detected. I mean, they weren't detected, you know, they could do it. They want
Yeah,
to make contact, they make contact, and they are making contact with people. So, I mean, there's so much more to show you guys, but that's just a glimpse into what happens when you do this. What I can say is that the next day after that happened, I went home that night, my head was vibrating for like 3 hours. And I called Victor and I said, man, I don't know, something's wrong. My head feels really weird. He goes, is it vibrating? I said, yeah. He goes, mine feels like it's vibrating too. So,
Wow.
so the next day at 4 o'clock in the morning, my doorbell rang. So I got up, you know, and I have surveillance and infrared cameras at my house. And I was looking at my TV, I didn't see anything. So I went to the door, nobody there. The next day, 4 o'clock in the morning, same thing. The next day, my phone went off like a text. I got a text. So
Mhm.
then I realized it was, okay. So that's when I'm supposed to do my intention and affirmation for contact. So from then on, 4 o'clock in the morning, I just wake up and I do it, and then they come. And I have all kinds of amazing contact experience with beings
Wow.
that occurs.
Mhm.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys are familiar with a Zendra. You know what a Zendra is? It was created by a group out of Peru.
Yeah, I've heard about Grant Cameron talking about that.
So this is a Zendra that was forming in my meditation room. And what
Oh,
this is, a Zendra is, it creates like a void, a displacement of time where beings can interact with you inside that dome without any fear of being detected by anybody.
oh,
It's a
wow.
special space. So I walked in that dome because that dome actually expanded. That's just a portion of it. I could show you the whole footage of it. And I walked into it and I was interacting with these other civilizations.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can they appear as multiple domes, like big round circles that are
I've only seen it as one Zendra, one dome.
one big
Yeah, I've
Zendra?
never seen multiple domes. Yeah.
So they're not detected by our military or anything like that?
Because it creates a frequency and a vibration that nobody's going to see. These are just orbs and energies coming in.
Those are great.
I'm trying to find this footage of this rod that I want you to see. Let me see here if I pull up. So go to. Let's see if we have here. Okay. Let's see what this is. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. Let's see what we got here. Let's get on this. Let's get some into iMovies, which takes up too much time. We don't want to do that. Let's see what this is. Oh, that's that one. Oh, it's actually a different one. Let me see here. Trying to find the Zendra for you. Oh, this is interesting. I walked into the room and I saw this blue light. And I was trying to grab my phone. Oh no, maybe this isn't it. This is, I don't know if this is a Zendra or not. You'll see the smoke and the orbs in this. You'll see just like, it looks like it's snowing after a few minutes in here. I think this is the footage. I started interacting. I just started speaking out loud to it.
Earth beings.
Did you see that orb?
Beings
Look at this orb. The shape of it.
come to Earth beings.
Right there. But
Yeah.
you'll see, there's just like this cascade of all of these orbs coming out. I think it's on this footage.
February 2020.
Maybe it's not on this one. No, let me, maybe it is. So I'm using the singing bowls here to help raise the vibration. Let me see if it's the next one. I might be the next one. You see that plume? I mean, that's not it, but it's just, it's almost like it's palatable, you know? You can
Yeah.
just grab the air.
Yeah, there's so many. Wow.
Well, it really gets, I think this is the footage. It just looks like it's snowing after a minute. It's so intense. And they're everywhere. Yeah, here it comes.
Awesome.
Isn't that just beautiful? I mean, they stop, they look at you. It's like they're observing. I'm going to try and find that Zender for you. I think I have it. I don't think this is it. No. Oh, wait. Is that it? Let's see if this is it.
Did you show Grant your Zendra?
Yeah, yeah, he knew. But he knew
Yeah.
what it was. He goes, oh my God, you got a Zender in your room.
Wow. These are
Yeah,
great.
he actually went to with Enrique Villanueva. That's that one orb. Went to Mount Shasta in 2016, I think he went.
Mhm.
He had some experiences there. Paula
Yeah.
Harris, and she
I
was
heard
in.
him talk about that with Paula and
Yeah.
yeah.
I want to try to find the rod for you. This thing is just amazing. I think this might be the footage. Let's see if this is it. No,
Just in these higher realm.
no, I have it. Image. Oh man, where are you? Okay, well, I know I've got.
If you want to save some time for questions too, so.
Yeah, I just wanted to try and find this. Let's see. There's this one with this rod that's just amazing, but we might have to do it for another time. But anyway, we can. Anybody has any questions? I'm happy to. Let's. Here, this is in Malibu, California. I think this is Malibu. Or just look at that. Ask me if it's hard to get a date sometimes.
Oh, that's funny. I love that orb. It looked like it didn't know where it was going.
Mhm. Okay, well, I mean, if you guys want to, if there's anything you would like to know or ask.
Anybody have any questions or comments, or did this bring up anything for anyone? Or anybody have experiences that anything like that?
I don't have that kind of experience. When I take some pictures, the orb is there in my picture, but I haven't seen something like that. That was amazing.
Yeah,
And just watching it makes me feel joyful and gives me some hope.
Yeah,
The energy is.
it's so beautiful. I mean, it's just
Mm.
the experience is it's life changing. It really is. It makes you feel like oneness with all things because you're connecting to everything. You know, you feel like you're omniscient, like you're everywhere. You're present everywhere in the universe. So it's an amazing feeling to experience that.
yeah.
Michael, what did you think?
Oh, wow. It's very fascinating. I've heard about orbs. I've studied orbs before. I live near a paranormal hotspot here in Southeast Texas. You
Mhm.
probably heard of it before. It's called the Big Thicket.
What is
Have you
it
heard of
called,
that?
Michael?
It's called the Big Thicket.
Ticket, okay.
Yeah.
And what is that? Is that what is that like a wooded
There's been a
area?
lot of sightings out there. Yes, it's a vast wilderness area.
Okay. And what kind of sightings? There's been ships and
Yeah, I mean, uh, look, I don't know, it's everything.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, they've
Wow.
seen, Bigfoot,
Oh, yeah.
UFOs, lost time experiences,
Nice. Have you been there?
images from the past, they've seen images, kind of like a time distortion area.
Oh, okay.
Well, David, because I've heard of one story that they've seen things like they were like from the colonial days,
Oh,
a
okay.
horse and buggy,
Yeah,
like a
like
yes,
right from the past. There's like a
yep,
time warp thing going on.
like a time warp going on,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
Mhm.
cool. Have you
I
been?
haven't been out there in a while, but it's 100 miles from where I live.
Oh, okay. That's
Uh,
interesting.
yeah.
Very cool.
Then there's the ghost road thing where they seen the orbs, the big orb on the ghost road. It's
Mm-hmm.
called it's a ghost. They call it, it's a ghost road. It's
Uh-huh.
about 8 miles long. It looks like a ley line actually, but
Right, right.
there's been sightings along there.
Yeah. And people have seen orbs and different things.
Oh, big time. Yes.
Yeah, it seems like there's certain areas in the world where these phenomena happen a lot, you know?
Yeah, that's one of them.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Hmm.
And
Interesting.
I'll send you information about it. Yeah.
okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, that'd be,
Yeah.
I'd love to see that.
Right.
Mhm.
So, so AJ, do you feel like your spiritual connection has opened this window up more since you started to meditate and do practice spiritual practices and things like that?
Yeah, what happens is that when you start dwelling in these other realms, um, it's not only ET. I mean, there's dimensional, interdimensional. There's all kinds of beings you can interact with. I mean, I've never had a bad experience, but I can tell you that the difference when
Mhm.
they're interplanetary, transdimensional versus inner Earth beings or just from different dimensions. You can tell by the energy. But I also have contact with people that have passed, like I told you on the phone.
Mhm.
People from hundreds of years ago come to me, and it gets really trippy because I have what's called an open door policy. I don't leave anybody out because I have no fear of it. I mean, if there's something I don't like, I just tell them to please leave, but I've never had that.
Mhm.
I've had some really weird experiences. I had an experience about 6 months ago where I did my affirmation intention at 4 in the morning roughly, and about was feeling this energy going through me. Then all of a sudden my feet started lifting off the bed, and I'm literally looking at my feet at the ceiling, and my head is cocked into the pillow of the bed, and my arms are being held by something. And I'm going like, okay, what is this all about? You know? So sometimes you don't know what any of it's about. And then they just laid me back down, and they were gone. And then there was a time about 8 months ago where I felt energy pushing me into the bed, and I
Mm.
felt myself depressing into the bed, and I could barely breathe.
I think I've had that happen to me before.
And the next thing I knew it,
Woo, that hurts.
yeah, I'm inside this like pod, and I can't move, only my head. And then there's a viewing window. I'm seeing Earth getting smaller and smaller, and I end up on a ship. And
Mm.
I'm looking up in this room at the ceiling, but I can't see anything. I could not open my eyes, but I could hear. And I hear these voices, and I could just see in my mind's eye that they were very tall. And I said out loud, literally, I said, please speak in a language I can understand. And the room went silent.
Mm.
And then I was out. The next thing I know, I'm back in my bed. So a lot of this, you have no idea, you know, what it's about. I mean,
Mm.
I
Oh
don't,
my goodness. Wow.
I don't call it abduction. I call it interactions, because I'm facilitating it too. It's a collaboration. I've never met a civilization that comes if you don't want them to. I mean, I had beings, an interesting story about a year ago. 2 beings came to me. They're about 4 feet tall, and they look like, their faces look like rocks, literally like rocks. So the next morning, and I said, may I ask where you're from? And they say, we exist 25,000 light years from Earth. So I just Googled 25,000 light years from Earth. 2018, a planet was found. You can Google this. A planet was found. They call it the rock planet. It's known as, astronauts call it the rock planet. And it's similar to Earth as far as its atmosphere. So figure that out, right? Yeah, and I've been taken to Jupiter for some reason twice. And it's interesting, the closer you get to Jupiter and their atmosphere, the ships become very unstable. And I had asked one of the ETs once, I turned to him and I said, can you stabilize the ship because it's shaking? I want to get a better view of, as we were descending towards Jupiter, I wanted to get a better view of it. And he said the atmosphere is very unconditional on this planet, and it's difficult for our instruments and our ship to stabilize. And he said, and they were telling me that there is a solid mass on Jupiter, because a lot of people believe it's liquid and just gas,
Mhm.
and it's not. And the closer you get to Jupiter, the bands, if you guys pull up on, you Googled something on Jupiter, you know, they're like a mauve, light tan, you know, colors and white, off whites. Well, actually, the closer you get, a lot of these streaks become very, very dark brown and black almost. It gets really interesting.
Huh.
And if you listen to, I don't know if you've heard of Michael Salas.
Oh, Dr. Michael Sala?
Yeah, Michael Salas. Michael Salas is a professor that retired, and he does the exopolitics. And he
Oh, yes. Yeah, I
talks,
keep up on this channel, YouTube channel.
he talks to Corey Good and other people that believe in the Space Force and all this other stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
they say that the Galactic Council, the Galactic Federation, meets at Jupiter. So, and I've never met anybody from that council, as far as I know, from Jupiter. But for some reason, they take me to Jupiter, and I don't know why I'm taken there. I don't remember any of it. I do remember being on a large craft one time, and this craft was stories tall, and we're in this. The only way I could describe it was a commons area, because there was these beings, and there were different civilizations on this in this area of this craft. And this elderly man came up to me, and he had a robe on, a white robe on. He had long hair and these deep blue eyes and very light skin, and he was about 6 feet tall. And I said, why do you show me all this information? Because they were showing me this viewing wall with all this mathematical equations and planetary systems. And I said, why do you show me this if I know I'm not going to remember it? I basically said that to him telepathically. And he said, because of your frequency on Earth. And then the next thing he did, he raised his right hand, he put it to my ear, and I heard this loud pitching sound. And then I was back on my bed. I was sitting on the floor of my room. and they
Oh,
put
wow.
her on the floor. Yeah, it was pretty trippy. It was pretty. I was like, okay, that's interesting. But I mean,
Wow.
they show me planets, names of planets. I mean, that are outside the solar system. I have no idea where they're at. There's one called Hadron. It's the planet is like a mauve color, and the water is literally black. And when you're getting in the atmosphere of this system where this planet Hadron is, you'll see the planet, and you'll see there's like these dots, and they're connected. And I said, "What is that?" And they said, "That's our water system, and the water is actually a black water, and everything around it's like violet. It's like a violet color. Their land is violet. It's just amazing. I mean, they were showing me their land, and so it's been an interesting journey. Yeah, so that's why.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, AJ. This was
Yeah.
wonderful having you speak tonight and show us some of your phenomena and tell some of the experiences that you've had. And I just wanted to ask you, do you find that a lot of the times when they're taking you out of body, is that when you're having that time at 4 a.m, when you're being woken up to meditate or to set your intention? Or can it happen at any time?
Typically, it's between 3 and 5 in the morning when it happens. Sometimes it happens in the meditation room during the day, but typically it's in that space when you're in the in-between state.
Mhm.
In the astral is when they contact me, and we have those exchanges.
So are you asking them to go with them? Are you putting the intention out
yeah.
there that you want to explore, that you want to see
Yeah,
what they're
right.
about?
It's a collaboration, but I've also been asked to go and be an ambassador, like an emissary from Earth, and
Yeah.
I have a daughter, so I said so I'm not ready to go. I mean, literally, they've asked me to leave Earth.
Mhm.
Not
And
now.
who's asking you to leave? Are you
Uh,
aware of who they are?
these are beings from the real quick. So the woman that I was on the elevator, I know you didn't hear this. Is it Yumi? Is that your name?
Yumi.
Okay, didn't hear this, but I had a near-death experience, 1996, and a woman entered the elevator while I was on the elevator. She just manifested. Anyway, this woman is from Pegasus star system, and I was on a spacecraft with her, and I had asked her, why do you keep coming to me? Why do I know you? She goes, go look at this wall. So I went in front of this wall on the ship, and it became reflective. And I was one of them, but I was a younger boy. And I turned to her, and she goes, now you're one of us. So I woke up the next day, and I had this outline in the mirror, about 15 minutes of this boy's face on my face. And she comes to me once in a while, but not very often.
Mhm.
So there's got to be a relationship with me and Pegasus, but Andromeda, obviously, I have some relationship with the Andromeda star system and Pegasus, and
Is Pegasus part of Andromeda?
well, it's in the same area, yeah. So you have Cepheus, Pegasus is 600 light years from Earth,
Mhm.
600,000 light years from Earth. Then you have the Andromeda system, then you have Cepheus, which is in between. So there's a correlation of those three that I have interaction with those beings,
Okay.
and those are the systems that I deal with.
Okay.
But I've been on ships where there's been just multiple different
Types.
beings.
Yeah, all different kinds of things.
There's so many. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
of different types. So.
Yeah, it's amazing. Well, thank you so much. I have 8:48 here in the library. They're starting to flicker their lights to let people know that they're going to be shutting down soon. So any last comments? Anybody want to ask a quick question before we wrap it up, or
Yeah,
comment?
it may be long, so maybe another time I should leave it because it may AJ's answer may take long if I ask this question.
Okay, you
But
can
I,
ask.
I, I
Okay, they're not
okay,
gonna-
I was going to ask AJ how he sustained his physical body on the earth, because I have an issue that I don't have the contact with another dimension, and also I don't have any career or um, that I don't know what my mission is on this earth yet. So I'm and and I know the intention is important, so I'm intending to bring people the real smile. I wanna. Anyways, I how I was wondering how you could spend your many time on meditating, and at the same time to sustain your life on the earth. I wondered.
So are you asking for myself how I do it or for you?
Oh, I want to know for me, but
Mhm.
I need to figure it out
Yeah,
myself, right?
yeah, right. What I can tell you is what civilization has told me is that in human terms is that we are all authors of our own book. We are our own messiahs and prophets. Therefore, understand yourself and you will understand the story of your book. So we've actually written our own stories before we even came here. It's an incarnation process. So don't try to find it's already there. It- there's a saying that if you come up with a question, the answer is already there. The answer is enfolded inside of you. So just let it happen organically, and it'll happen. One day it'll just go off. Okay? You know,
Oh, thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome.
Thank you. That was beautiful.
Catherine,
Oh,
hopefully we can do
Catherine,
this
yeah,
again.
I'm so glad. Catherine, thank you very much for letting me have this opportunity
Oh,
to
I'm so
join this.
glad you were able to be here, Yumi.
Yeah. Thank you, Catherine.
Mike, Mike too. Thank you.
And AJ, it was so nice to have you speaking and tonight and sharing your phenomena and your wisdom and we
Yes.
appreciate it. Thank you.